friends, welcome back again. Today is January 3rd. It is day 3 of a new year, of a new decade. And at this point, you're probably wondering, what is going on? We only get one video a week. We've already gotten so many more this week. What's happening? So to kick off 2020, I'm bringing you 5 days of fresh content to kickstart your year. So if you subscribe to my newsletter, you would have already seen that on Wednesday, on January 1st, but I am making it known now on YouTube too, now that you're seeing this trend of why are we getting so much more content. I really want this to be the year that you go from saying, I want to be an author, to being able to say, I am an author. I want to be sure that I'm giving you all the content that you need to make that happen. You know, you're the one who has to spend the time in the chair, put the pen to paper, but I'm going to do whatever I can to share my knowledge and experience with you so that way you can really make it happen this year. So be sure to subscribe to this channel to get my videos for the rest of this week, as well as all of my weekly updates that I'll be posting. And be sure to subscribe to my Author Your Ambition newsletter, because then you would have known about this 5 days of content sooner, but there's always going to be so much more that I can put there. There's so much to learn, there's so much to do, so I'll be sure to say whatever I can't capture in video format, I will be putting on that newsletter. So definitely check out Author Your Ambition newsletter. But for today, we're going to be talking about the 5 stages of book development. So that is writing, editing, formatting, fine-tuning, and publishing. So I'm going to be walking you through each of these steps, and that way you know when you hit your first wall, that first creativity or productivity zap, you know, okay, well, what's coming next? How can I break this down into more specific tasks to get through each of these steps? So get ready for all of these stages of development that you'll be going through. So the first step is writing. Writing's the first step. Not thinking about your idea or meditating on it or talking about it. Writing. Actually writing is the first step. I have lots of other tips about how you can make the most efficient use of your writing time, how you can jumpstart your creativity, but you need to actually get the words down on paper. Whether it's longhand, whether it's typing it, you've got to write it first. This can be the longest part of the book development process for many authors, because this is the actual production of what you are making. You are writing words. So the first step is you've got to write your book. It's got to happen. The second step is editing your book. So you are very smart, you are very capable, but it is highly unlikely that your first draft is going to be a masterpiece that doesn't need any fine tuning, any revisions, anything like that. You need to go back and refine it. You need others to come in and point out any errors. And that's not because, you know, you're making errors you're not aware of and you're intentionally making them. No, like your brain is completing a sentence for you and you forgot the word of, because that just happens, or you put the instead of that. That happens all the time. And there's much more significant errors that maybe are being made where you think a plot point is very clear. Maybe other people think it's not clear. Maybe people think it's been belabored too much, and you can scale back. So editing is very important. Sharing your book with an editor is the first time an author will open up and bare their soul to someone else. That really is what it feels like when you're sharing your book with someone, like, oh my gosh, you can see into part of my mind. But because you are going to be able to share that with them, you're going to get that one-to-one feedback before it goes out to the world. And it should feel, you know, this vulnerable every single time you do it, but it's because you're getting that feedback. You need to have that, and it should be thorough. You should not be rushing this process. So editing is a very critical part of getting your book done. Right, the third part is formatting. So you've written the book, you've edited it. So how are people going to experience your book? Are they going to pick it up and read it? Are they going to listen to it as an audiobook? Are they going to skim through on like a Kindle? How are they going to read it? Because you want to make sure that it is a quality experience in every format. So making sure if it is a PDF that is converted to a print file, where it's a print on demand paperback or hardback, okay, you have to make sure that it looks good. Same thing with an ebook. If you have hot links in your ebook, guess what? You can't click on paper on your paperback. You have to take those out. Your book is like a caterpillar in a cocoon in this stage, and when the formatting is done, it's going to be like a butterfly or a scary moth. This is a really gross metaphor, but you get what I mean. So this is where your book is transforming from a manuscript to an actual book that somebody can enjoy. So the fourth step is fine-tuning. So after all of your editing and all your formatting, you're going to go through and fine-tune. So you should have caught as much as you can at this point, but I guarantee you there will still be some typos. There will be an extra space from where you formatted something or suddenly there's an extra line break. There's something else. You need to go through and do a fine-tuned review of your book. This is you putting the final stamp of approval, your publisher's initial on every page. This is the chance for you to catch everything and say, you know what, I'm sure there's still an error in here, but this is 99% perfect, and I'm not going to pull out my hair for the next year trying to find that one other error. It's good to go. So this fine-tuning is very critical. And then the fifth step is publishing, which at this point you probably think is like, oh, that's easy. And then you realize you have to sign up on all these platforms. But I have all the information on all those platforms on this channel as well for you. So the final step can be just as mentally taxing as the first, right? So you wrote the book, you're creative, you got your ideas down, and now there's all this logistics that you have to figure out, and tax information and sales and marketing for publishing. But this is the final step to finishing your book development, right? You've created it, you've revised it, you've proofed it, you've formatted it, and now it's ready to go out to the world. It's ready to be published. So you want to make your book available to people, and this is exciting. This is your moment that you get to hold up your book or hold up the e-reader that has your book on it and say, I'm an author. So this is very exciting for you. So these 5 bigger steps of book development have lots of smaller tasks within them. But if you're getting stuck on one step, you can say, all right, I'm going to take a moment and step back and say, let me line up the editor, because that'll give me a good deadline to work towards. Or, yeah, I actually hadn't thought about audiobook format. Let me do some research on that while my mind's percolating on these ideas I need to be editing. So it's good to know what's ahead so you know how to plan, and you're not the author who says, I just finished my first draft. You can buy my book next month. Oh, that would be so stressful to get it out in that amount of time. So I wanted to really make sure that we spelled out these stages, because when you're done writing, you may be wondering what you need to do next, or you may have been spending a lot of time researching the self-publishing process, but you haven't started editing. So I want to make sure that you understand that some of this research can be done concurrently, but some of it is just going to be as you work through those steps. I had to figure out this process on my own. And one of the biggest joys that I have now when I work with aspiring authors is that I can relay this information to them. I can see their shoulders just, okay, I know what I need to do. I can understand this. They visibly relax when I'm talking to them. They appear less tense. It doesn't mean that there's not still going to be hard work ahead, but having that roadmap, having that plan makes it a lot easier for them. So where are you in the process of your book? Drop a comment below on what stage you're in right now. Are you writing? Are you editing? Formatting, fine-tuning, or publishing? I want to know where you're stuck. And if you're headed back to the office next week and you feel like you got so much more done over the break than you would have otherwise, or you wanted to get more done than you would have otherwise, but the holiday just flew by, I'm actually hosting a writing retreat in April called Inspired Words, and the whole purpose is to help dedicate time to getting the writing or editing or fine-tuning in for your book. I'm going to have a link below so you can check that out, but I hope that you found this helpful. I hope that this is inspiring you to keep going. That's all I have for today. Check back in tomorrow. I'm going to have more information for you. If you found this information helpful, please give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe. That lets YouTube know that you're getting value from this channel and gets it in front of other authors like us. And now you can go back to writing your book.